Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh, it's so weird to like open this up and there's like a flood of comments. I love it. It is cracking me up. Okay. So, while we have everyone like a minute to get here, let me just scroll through these comments here because you guys are the best. All right. And likes to stream on her TV. Love it. Dude, the hubby changed something with the sound settings like yesterday, day before. And now the volume button doesn't work. So I went in there to like mute the TV because I had the news on. And then I was like, nothing's working. So I just turned the TV off and ran back in here. So, yeah. I have to get him to look at that and see what he changed. I don't know. It says, I'm usually surprised when Tori starts talking on my TV. Boo. Love it. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay, you guys are cracking me up. Okay, you guys can see me right now. I hope so. Too funny, too funny. Meanwhile, I'm over here, haven't had any breakfast, so I like ran and grabbed an Oreo. Oreo and coffee, the breakfast of champions. Okay. All right. I feel like I need to scoot, but I don't want to run over buttons. Okay. See, where are we at? Get the dog hair off everything. I feel like my desk is covered in dog hair, because Buttons has been extra needy lately up here with me. Okay. Where are we at? Okay. Hey, it's Tori from Calypso Creative Planning. What's up? I never say what's up. I don't know why I said it just then. Whatever. That was really weird. Okay. So, before we get started, it's just like totally random, which should not be a surprise for anyone. Okay. But keep little Buttons in your thoughts and prayers because I don't know. She's not herself lately. So I don't know, she's been really lethargic lately and like she's not eating as much and she's just sleeping all day and all night in her little puff. And so I don't know, we've started invoking special privileges. So, you know, she has a recliner to herself now and stuff like that. So I don't know, she's just, I don't know. And you guys know what I went through just a few months ago with Drake. So, and she's just like a few months younger than Drake. So, you know, I thought for sure she'd be here. Yesterday she was in my lap for a good portion of the day. So, yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Everyone can hear me, right? We're good. Let's see. Comments. Squirrel. Yeah. Squirrel. Okay. Where are we at? I feel like I have several things to talk about with you guys today because I could not decide. Like every time I came up with a plan, it's like, oh, we're going to talk about this. No, let's talk about this. And then I like messaged the team yesterday and I'm like, well, you know, do you guys want to do this or do you want to do this? And then there was votes for this one, but then there was votes for both. So it's like, you know what? We're just going to like everything. Okay. Everything. So, Aaron, what you missed was that Buttons is acting weird. Like she's not herself. So just, you know, send good positive vibes over here to Buttons. She's in her puff right now. At night, like she'll be in her little puff next to my desk like the entire day, the entire night. And at night when it's time for bed, she, you know, after her final potty break, she comes back in here and she like lays down in her poof. And so I just pick her up, poof and all, and put her in her room at night. I don't know. She's just, I don't know. So y'all just positive vibes to Buttons. Okay. Okay. What are we doing? Okay. So several things. One is today is the Patreon exclusives day. So we're going to talk about that. Two, I didn't mention this in the title of this, but the freebie for August is ready. So, except for I haven't done Good Notes files or Noteful files, but the freebie's ready, and so I can tease you with that. You can already go ahead and get it in the vault, even though I haven't updated the graphics everywhere else. 3, we're going to talk about some teasers for a new Notion hub that I've been working on that hopefully will be able to be released this week, next week, something like that. But I just want to give you a little teaser of that. And then 4, Good Notes has been pissing me the fuck off this week. So Noteful is making me extra happy to the point where I am considering redoing my book journal in Noteful. So the past few days I have been playing around with like the differences of moving my book journal into Notion, and essentially I'm recreating it because Noteful has some different features. So we're going to look at that. So all these things, we've got like, I don't even know where you guys want to start, but I've got, let's see. Okay. I'm getting messages. Okay. So first up, this wasn't on the list, but look at my weekly spread. Isn't it lovely? I decided to go with green and pink this week because the green from the floral sunset is just kind of like, it's kind of an odd green, and I don't know. I felt like going with green and pink, and I like it. Do you guys like the green and pink? I think it's working. I also wanted to do something slightly different with the daily blocks, and I like this. I think it works. So yeah, green and pink this week. We're going to see how that goes. And instead of planning out my days like I tried to do last week and totally failed, I felt like I needed a category style brain dump. So wait, what is happening? Aaron says my computer is a jerk. It's been telling me that the live hadn't started for the last 7 minutes. Well, that's crazy. We're here. When I opened up the thing, the Streamlabs to do it, it said there were 0 viewers, but then there was like an entire screen full of comments. So it's like, I know they're there, but like why? But now we have viewers showing, but it's okay. Okay, so this week I decided instead of putting like my task on my days, like I put the little, schedule thingies, and I'm playing more with layers because one of the things we're going to talk about today is Noteful. Layers are fun. So I'm really liking the layers. So I've got background stuff, which is all of this. And then I've got schedule stuff, which is all of these little daily note things of like stuff on the schedule. And then just my regular notes. But I am just loving the layers more and more and more in Noteful. Okay, and you'll see how I'm using it whenever I transfer it over my book journal. But so instead of doing like my daily tasks, this is I'm doing daily recording. But I wanted to brain dump by category. So, boom, look at this. I haven't used the black pages yet, so I wanted to like play around with that. But look how fun this is. So what I decided to do is I had some goals I wanted to get done this week that they were supposed to happen last week, but didn't happen. So I was like, okay, let's think of everything that needs to get done and get this all just like, bleh, just get it out of my head. So then I can figure out when to do what. So this is my brain dump weekly spread. And what I did is I put my little scheduled items over here. I just like copied it from these things and just put it in like one block. So this is my schedule. And then I use little text boxes here. Oh, there's a hair, excuse me. Did little text box headers for the different little areas of my life. So I've got like editorial and design, home and personal, Patreon, shop, book club, and book promo, Skillshare, and then bottom design where I do contract work. So this is like, I just sat down and I just brain dumped everything I could think of that needed to happen this week. That's a lot of shit. Okay. And I did my usual thing where like I put it in pink. If it, just like dump everything in pink. And then as I get it done, I turn it to white. And if it's in progress, I put it as green, just so like it helps me figure out what's done. Oh, this one, that can go to white. That is done. Okay. So I've just been like, just going through here and working on stuff the past couple days, getting stuff done. But look how fun this is. I love this kind of like weekly planning where I can just dump in the thoughts and think of every little thing that has to get done so I don't forget something. And then I can go back and figure out, okay, what needs to be done what day. And I can always just copy it and paste it onto that day. But something about this process helps me get it out of my head and not, hopefully, fingers crossed, not forget something. And of course, I had to make it look pretty because, look how cute that is. And I also did like background stuff. So you can see like some of this is like background. And then my schedule notes, that's this stuff here. I love layers. Okay. Yes. Aaron said, did you see GoodNotes posted on their IG that people were asking about layers and they said something like they can't put everything in this next release, but I guess stay tuned. What the fuck, GoodNotes? Okay. Look. GoodNotes is pissing me off this week. And how long have we been asking for layers? Like, we don't need AI documenting help. We need layers, GoodNotes. But right now, let's just take that as a segue into my other topic of GoodNotes is pissing me off and I love Noteful more right now. There's been an update this week, 2 updates this week actually in GoodNotes. And I don't know what happened, but I can't even mess with images. So like stickers, tell me if anyone else is having this problem where like, let's go to this is the example I've been using where like if I use the selection tool, then yeah, I can mess with images, right? I can mess with images. Let me undo that. I'm gonna mess that up. But if I go to the image tool, I cannot select images at all. Like, is anyone else having this problem? It is, and which means I can't take these little guys, stop it, my tracker stickers and like adjust the sizes. It meant that I had this quote here and I couldn't resize it to put this little novella in. Well, it's a bonus chapter. I couldn't put that in. And so it's like, I can't do hardly anything on this page. And it's making me so mad. Is anyone else having this problem? Donna says she's having that problem. Kristen says GoodNotes has been really glitchy for me too. The photo button barely works for me anymore. And then sometimes you can like, just with the selection tool, you can tap something and select it. And then other times you can't. And so like if I'm trying to edit this image, I have to do this and then I can edit it. But then I can see resize didn't even work. I can resize it like this, but I can't stretch it. And it's like, what? It's just really irritating me because these little things, that's how I track like my progress for my reading. And I essentially cannot do that now. And like, I tried doing this where like, let's say I just want this image. Okay. Copy. I'm like worked up, spitting a little here. Okay. I copied it. Okay. And I tried, let's say, paste it. I can do this. I can adjust it this way. I can do this, but I can't touch it. So like it's there. I can't do anything else with it. So I can't resize it to put it where I need it. I can't stretch it. I need to it's pissing me off. And so there's only so much I can actually change on this page now. And it's very, very irritating. It's like, why? Why are you messing with me? And then I keep going back to this because like sometimes you have to, like if you're trying to check and see if there's an update, like it'll say open, but if you click it, sometimes it'll say update there and you can do that. But it's updated twice this week. And it's like I can't do hardly anything on this page anymore. So is extremely frustrating, extremely frustrating because it just feels like I can't use this page. At least I can't use it how I want to use it. You know what I mean? Like I could switch over to, see, I could do shapes the way GoodNotes does it, but I can't do it like Noteful, where I can't like make it a color and resize it that way. I could draw a line and resize it, or a square or something like that. But so what I started doing is because it's been so frustrating, I'm like, do I want to transfer my entire book journal into Noteful? But y'all, that's 7 months worth of journaling. And I don't have every single book journal page filled out. But if I look at what I do have filled out, I have all of these things, all of these pages that I've started doing, for my little overview stuff. My TBR here, I did a lot of pages in January, then we're into February. So there's like a lot of stuff in here. So it would take a really long time for me to transfer everything over, especially these pages that are already done. I could, select it all. Like if I wanted this one, I could, select everything and paste it into Noteful as like one image. So for these pages that are already done, I could do that if I wanted to speed up the process, as opposed to like recreating everything. And what I mean by that is, like, let's turn on all of my selections, okay? And I'm going to switch to the little square one. I'm going to select this, and we're going to say copy. And I didn't get a little copy thing, so we're going to try again. Copy. There we go, copied. Now, what day was this? Okay, so this was this May? No. April? See, I don't even remember what days it is. Okay, April 26th. Okay, so if I go over here to Noteful, I'll show you what I did here in a minute. So April 26th. I could come in here and paste this whole thing. Like I could do that if I wanted to. Let's see, let me resize this here. Okay, so I mean, I could do that for these pages that are already done, and it comes in as like one thing. So that's an easy thing, and I could essentially do the same thing for like the monthly pages. Like if I wanted to just copy everything over, I could do that same process. If I wanted to, that would be an easy way to do that. If it was something like this where the page is already done and I don't want to recreate it. I don't want to do that for my overview pages. And by that, I mean, let's look at like these pages here, where I will go through and move these at the end of the year to consolidate space. So as I go through this throughout the year, I'll like, here's a page for the A's. Here's a page. This is another page of A's. This is B's. This is another B, and a different B. So I do this so that I have room to add to it throughout the year. And then at the end of the year, I'll go back and move things around to kind of fill in blank spaces, so I don't have stuff like this if there's, no more here. So those pages would have to be recreated. But for, all of these, technically I could just, do this and say copy. Make sure you get that. Okay, so that was January, right? Technically, let's see how well it looks. Okay. Comes in smaller, which is kind of annoying, but... And the reason why that's annoying is because it will decrease quality. Alright, so I'm just matching up edge to edge. And then I can move this around. So, I mean, that, if I wanted to just copy those over and not recreate anything, this is an easy way to do that, right? But if I wanted to recreate something like my overview pages, then I have to start from scratch. Not all of my pages are done. I don't want y'all to think I'm like, wow, look at every single page is done. No, it's most definitely not. But it is something I'm considering because GoodNotes is pissing me off so much. So we'll see. Let me check the comments. Kristen says, same issue. Tori, heaven forbid I want to crop anything. What? Yeah, you can't. Like, how are you? Like, you can't, right? Oh, what the fuck are you doing? See, look. That's what I mean. Why am I able to touch this? Why? How? Like, what? That doesn't even make sense. If I can't touch images, I can touch shapes or something. That is an image, though. So, like, oh, so, because can you crop anything here? I mean, you can crop this way, and you have to go through. Can you crop? Can you just? What the? No. Crop. I clicked crop. Why is it going to crop? That's not a crop. Like, what the? Okay, so GoodNotes is pissing me off. Let's see. Donna says, yep, makes me wonder what the fuck they're doing with the subscription fees they're getting. And I'm on the one-time payment plan because I just cannot figure out the difference with the subscriptions other than you can view this on other platforms, which I don't need. So why the subscription? What's the other difference? I don't know. Donna says maybe just start from July. That is what I've done. So I will show you that in a second. Claudette says maybe export all the pages that don't need changes, then just cut and paste July. Erin says just split screen and transfer things over page by page while you're watching TV or listening to a book. And says GoodNotes is so glitchy, but I'm so used to it. I don't want to change or learn something new. I am way more fond of Noteful at this point, even with some of like the hyperlink thing, but that's a workaround. You just move your templates up to the top of your planner. You're fine. That's not enough to bug me with all the other good stuff. But let me show you what I've done for July. So this is my July in GoodNotes. I can't even adjust these, so I can't fix them for what I'm doing. Like this should only go to this day, and I can't change it. Unless I don't even know how to change it at this point on this because I can't edit my images. So that's just pissing me off. So what I did is I wanted to see, starting with July, because if I go back and do the other months, I can do the thing where I just copy the whole thing and paste it. That's not a big deal. So pulling that stuff, that's not a big deal. I could do that. But I wanted to see what it would look like if I was using Noteful like from scratch on a monthly spread. So I decided for July, I was going to recreate this vibe, this look in Noteful and do it in a way like how I would do it if I was doing Noteful. So in the past, you guys, well, I was going to touch my images, but I can't. So these little tracker things, what I've done before is I have Procreate and, oh, dog hair everywhere. Buttons, goodness. So I have this where it's just like it's a 500 by 500 file, like canvas or whatever. And I put my image in here and I match my colors. And then I have this layer where the opacity is turned down to 50%. And so I'll just drag my color over and then the nails, copy all, and then paste it into GoodNotes and stretch it out to track. So in Noteful, I don't have to do that because you can create shapes and adjust opacity. So what I've done is this is my recreated page. Love it. I think it looks great. There are some differences, but I'm okay with it. So when we're talking about things that I did differently with this versus GoodNotes, one, layers, because fuck yes. So on my layers, here's how I have it. So I've got background, which is stuff like this stuff up here. So if I turn it off, you can see I also put like my headers because I wanted black in there. So that is my background layer. Then I've got my trackers layer, which is all these shapes here. Okay. Let's just turn everything off as we go and then we'll turn it back on. So my trackers layer, which is my little shapes. And then I've got quote blocks. Let me see. That's these guys. And then I've got the quotes that sit on top of those. The reason why I put those on 2 different layers is so that I could easily select that text and resize it and move it around and then adjust those differently. I could also, if I didn't want it on 2 different layers, I could turn off image and shapes versus text box for the selection. That's another way to do it. I've got a layer for my covers. Okay. I've got a layer for my ratings. And just because I'm doing it this way doesn't mean you have to, because, you know, in GoodNotes, it's all in the same layer, but I just love having the layers. And it means that I could have completely different looks if I wanted. Like, I could just have this. I've got a layer for decorations too. So like if I just wanted my books, there's my books, right? That it's just simple. But if I want to get fancy, oh, and then book notes. So that is stuff like I've got a TBR thing. This is something I want to, any books that didn't get listened to before or read before goes there. And then these are books that are coming out, like book releases. So that's a book notes. I also put a notes to hide. How I use that is when I was recreating this, I did a screenshot of this and then pasted it in here so I could reference where my books were. And I just turned it on and off as I needed it. But, you know, so it's there if I need it. But I've got, you know, my book notes, my decorations. Let's turn my decorations back on. My ratings. Covers are turned on. Quotes. Quote blocks. Trackers. Because I could, if I didn't want quote blocks, I mean, my quotes can still be there. But I like the blocks. That's a look I've grown fond of. And then my background. So I love having the different layers, because it means I can turn things on and off. I can get different looks. I can, you know, turn off my trackers and just have my covers, whatever. It makes it really easy to move things around because they're on separate layers, and I can lock the layers if I want to, or I can just turn them off. So if I wanted to move a bunch of covers around, I could come in here and lock the quotes and the trackers. And you can't, like, see this little blue outline? I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's see. It goes out of focus, but see how it's outlined in blue? That means that's your current layer. That's the layer on. So if I tapped my covers, it goes blue there, which means I can then lock this. So you'll see this little symbol. That means you can't lock it because that's the layer you're working on. So I don't know if you guys knew that, but I love this. And so the difference between the trackers I was using in Procreate. So like if I turn off, I'm gonna unlock this, and I'm gonna make this my stuff. So I'm gonna just turn off these things for right now. Okay. So what I was doing before with my trackers is, delete. Let's go back to here. Okay. So I was coming in here, copy all, right? And then I would go to GoodNotes and I would paste it, and then I would stretch it out for the length of my book. But with Noteful, I don't have to do that, because if I wanted a new one, I have to make a new one all over again. But instead, let me turn the covers back on. Instead, what I can do is I've got a shape. I'm going to pop it on here. Here's my shape, and I can adjust it however I want to cover my tracking. Okay. I can say style, and I'm going to turn the opacity down to 50. And then I can change the color by sampling my book cover. So I don't have to go through the step of going to Procreate, copy and paste. And then if I have a new book, I can just duplicate this, and then I can go to style and I can choose another one. Okay. And then there you go. I match that. So I don't have to like go back and forth, create a new one every time. I'm already on the page. I can just duplicate it and then change it, you know, just change the color. You can add a border if you want. The border matches whatever the color is that you're doing. So if you want a border, you can have it. If you don't, you know. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete that. Another difference that I've been doing is, let's just stay on these two as an example. So in GoodNotes, if you look, I've got this this shape border around my cover because it just, you know, it gives it a little pop. Some of them you don't even notice, like this one you do notice. This, if I did not have the, okay, let me turn off image. So, okay, if I select this, it kind of blends in with the page, you know, for that particular one. So I drew that around there and you got some differences. But here in Noteful, I can select my image. Let's just do a new one from scratch. Okay, so I'm going to say image, thank you, and I'm going to choose this one just because it's there. Okay, I'm trying to stay zoomed in so you guys can see these things. So if I size this up, okay, instead of taking the shape and drawing around it and like lining it up, I can tap it and say style, and I can choose a frame size, and I can choose a color. Let's go with a bright red. And then look, now I've got a border. And like, it could be, you know, like a fat one if you wanted a really fat one. And there you go. My border's there, and I didn't have to do an extra step. I just told it to turn it on and set the color. So I think that's really fun. I really, really, really like that feature because I just really like the little borders to match. I have not been able to decide if I like the thin ones or if I like the slightly thicker ones. I don't know. Right now I'm just doing thin. But I mean, how handy is that, right? Hang on, I've got a cough. Ooh. So that right there saves me an extra step because I'm not having to like do two separate things, you know. And yeah, I don't know. I really like it. So far, doing it this way is like really making me happy. I'm just gonna turn on all these things. Yeah. So, and I did. Normally I drew my little arrows, but with Noteful, I can literally choose an arrow. And this is like under here. Now, remember when you are placing things, it's going to come in on whatever layer you have selected. So I'm going to put this on the quotes layer so it sits on top. But I can change the color and it can be whatever. And then I can come in here and just like manipulate it and be like, you know, blah blah blah. So that I'm doing that. I decided to not worry about a border around my little quote blocks. I'm feeling that's just feeling good to me, so I'm gonna go with that. I'm still adding my text and like resizing those as needed. Still doing that. Oh, what dog? Let's see what else. Let me see your comments here. Go away. Claudette says, ooh, love that quote and block layer idea, right? Anne says, I agree. The border feature is a good thing. Makes decorating quicker and easier. Erin says, I see you trying to make that arrow look like your huge zucchini. Oh my gosh, that's funny. That zucchini, that Erin got to see the zucchini, the biggest zucchini, during the Patreon Zoom hangout because my husband was posing like a fish, like the zucchini was a fish. So she got to see that. What, Ashley? Do you need to go outside? Is that where you're pestering me? All right, hang on. I need to run her outside. I'm just going to open the door and let her out. I'll be right back. Y'all just talk amongst yourself. Let me know what questions you have for this. I'll be right back. Hang on. I'm going to mute my mic so you can't hear me run away. Hopefully a bird doesn't snatch her up. I'm gonna have to run back and get her. It says, quick, somebody draw pictures on the board while the teacher is gone. Yes, the screen was shaking because it's my desk. Like, if I hit my desk, the camera is sitting on my desk, and so it does it does shake if I run away. And like this is me tapping my feet in the floor. What is that? Oh, it's a lamp hitting the wall. That's weird. Ugh. Okay. Do you think she's done peeing yet? I'm gonna go see. I'll be right back. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Hang on. She was all the way on the other side of the driveway, like by the basketball goal, just sniffing around like she's got not a care in the world. Like we weren't in the middle of a fucking live stream, Ashley. Okay. Oh. Oh, Aaron, I remember your earthquake too. That's crazy. That's crazy. No more earthquakes, please. Okay. It is hot outside. Oh my gosh. It's ridiculous. It's like I feel like it tried to suck all the air out of my lungs. Just walking out there. Okay. Oh, okay. No, Buttons never got out of her poof. She's like, look, I'll show you. Buttons is in her poof. Buttons is in her poof. So, let's see. Can you see? Buttons, you want to make an appearance? Buttons is in her poof. She's like, what are you doing? She's in her poof. So, you want to stay there? Huh? You want to stay there? Well, you know, a little puff? What are you sniffing? You good? You good? Yeah, you good. Okay. We'll just leave Buttons there. She's gonna chill with us. Okay. You're so cute. You're adorable. You're so cute. Oh, you got a yawn? Is it a big yawn? You okay? Oh, we're on the move. We're on the move. No, you can't have my Oreo. That's not for puppies. Okay. You good? You good? Where are you going? No, you can't have an Oreo. Quit. It's not real chocolate. Here you go. Would you like that? It's not real chocolate. You can, okay. Okay. Don't get crumbs everywhere. Okay, your butt is just all up in the video, but that's cool. They like you. So, okay. That's not what I had in mind there. Okay. All right, just stay over there. Okay, there you go. Okay, do you guys have any Any other questions about this process or anything else that I do or don't like about going from GoodNotes to Noteful? Because this is making me happy. Okay. Oh, and then this little arrow, this is one thing that I did. So I have this quote that goes with this book over here. So what I did is there's an arrow, and then there's a straight line, and then there's an arrow. Well, no, it's not an arrow. It's like a curve, because like if you're doing this and you like hold like in Procreate, then you get a little shape that you can adjust. So that's what I did here. But because Noteful is like really cool, I grouped those and it's all one thing. So like I can move it or I can resize it and it's all one thing. So get up, let go. So, oh no, undo. So this is one reason that it's handy to lock your layers. There you go. But I'm gonna, if GoodNotes is still a pain in the ass with all of this, like, then I'll just stay in Noteful for my book journal for the rest of the year, and then maybe gradually do what I did with like this, where I just copied the whole page and put it in here and just laid it on top as like one giant sticker. What layer did I put that on? Oh, it's on trackers. That's fine. That's fine. It's on trackers. So unlock that, and then I can touch it. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. That would be an easy way for me to transfer things. So I don't like that. So, Buttons, are you just gonna like maybe make an appearance so your cuteness is here? Like, where are you going? I don't know. Oh, slow your roll there, girl. Do you think it's going to get confusing or overwhelming to have a bunch of layers by the end of the book? I don't think so. Because like, it's not like it shows up everything like on every single page. Cause like you can see that on this one, these are all blank because none of that stuff exists on this page, right? So it's not like these layers fill up with all of those things. Because it's just done for like those individual pages. Hi, baby. A sweet girl. A sweet girl. So I don't know if I do it long enough, then maybe in August, I'll be like, I don't need these many layers. I can do this and this, instead. Like maybe I realize in August, like it's too much to have all these layers. That's kind of a pain in the ass. Maybe I don't do all the layers, but I don't know. I really like having those layers, especially the trackers being separate from the covers. I don't know. I just wanted this to be like a, did you need something? I just wanted this to be like a test for like, if I were to do it from scratch, from the beginning, as if I had been doing it all along, how would I do it? And that's kind of what I decided to play around with. Now, I will say when I copied some of these things over, I left this as like one big thing. I selected it as one thing because I didn't want to like copy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 individual stickers over. So I mean, that was nice. But if I did, and because it's on this separate layer, I could turn off the trackers, and let's say these were all individual stickers, I could select them and tell it to group them so that they would all stay together as like a little bunch, which is kind of nice. I really like the grouping. Another way that I've used grouping is in like, okay, if we go to this, my book widgets and my books, I have grouped those so that it's like, all one thing. So for instance, I have an audiobook that I am starting today. So if I take this and I'm going to say duplicate and put it down here, I can come in and say ungroup, and then I'm going to pull in the new image, this one, add, okay, and then I'm going to resize it to where it matches this same size, right? I'm going to delete this, put this guy here, Okay, and then I can, oh, stop that. And then let's make sure I'm on selection. I can take this and say, group. Girl, where you going? No, you can't have the other part of that cookie. Quit it. What are you doing? Do you want to come sit in my lap? What are you doing? What are you doing? I don't know if she wants coffee or cookie. But, so having that group is like really nice. And then I could just, ungroup, copy it, move it around, all that kind of stuff. I think it works. I don't know that I did any grouping here. Other than, like, girl, I'm going to put you and your poof back in the floor if you don't quit. Okay. Tone it down. What you doing? Just stay here. You're causing a scene. You're causing a scene. Just settle down. You're fine. You don't need this. See, it doesn't exist. It's not there anymore. You're fine. Come here. I'm sorry. Is this distracting? Yes, it is. Do we love her anyways? Yes, we do. Come here. Be cute. Okay. All right. Aaron says I really need to play around and learn more with layers. Anne says I don't want layers in GoodNotes so much as the ability to lock a layer. It would make creating a spread so much easier. So, I mean, the locking of the layers is very handy. So like this, for instance, I think I showed this before, is like my background stuff is like all of these things. So I can just set it to be background and set it as locked so that I could come in and I could move this stuff around if I wanted to. And it's not, it's an image on top of an image. And so it's not affecting this underneath because it's set to be the background. So that's why, like, that's the ability to lock the layers is why I love the layers so much. Because, I mean, that's just, yes. Let's transition over into another thing. So we talked about how Patreon, the exclusives are out today. And girl, quit. The vote was for a mini journal kit in the Enchanted Kingdom theme. Girl, you know what? Get back in your poof. Get back in the poof. Get in the poof. Get in the poof. And we're going back in the floor because you're just getting feisty now. It's getting feisty now. Whole poof going back in the floor. There you go. All right. You're cute. You're fine. Okay. I swear. This dog. She's just cute, but tone it down. Okay. So, what I did with the journal kit, by the way, I feel like I'm all up in my microphone. This is the journal kit that is in the Patreon exclusives this month. And look how cute it is. So this is where the layers are going to come in handy because you can lock them. So I wanted to play around with this and like some of these other things and create a spread using this as like my background. So what I did was, are you ready for this? Are you ready? I went to my templates and I chose, I went to the desk one. I went with this page, not buttons, you got your hair. So I went with this page template. Oh, that was buttons right there. There's hair on my iPad. Buttons. Dang it. Okay. So I wanted to go with this page template so that I could use this as like my background for my planner, right? So I copied this page and then I went to where my weekly was and I pasted it. And then look at that. Look at that. So because I was able to put like my decorations on here and I laid out my page, like where I wanted it to go. And then I set it as the background layer. And then I locked the background layer. And then so you can see all this stuff is on the background layer. And then I've got my notes. So my notes are here sitting on top. And I even made this part of the background, right? So I wouldn't affect it. So if I turn off the background, you got all of this, right? That is one thing that's so handy because I can lock this. So even if I'm messing with this sticker here, I'm not going to mess with the background. I'm not going to, I can lasso this sticker and not end up moving this whole background and like this page and all this stuff that's underneath it, right? Layers, locking is just game changing. It's something that we've needed in GoodNotes for a long time, and they just like did all kinds of other things that we may or may not care about. But this I care about. The layers are very, very fun. Moving to the front and the back, they finally gave us that. You can do that with this, but then layers as well. If you have multiple layers, you can like move these layers around, and it does like a hierarchy. So in my planner, I've got a layer for notes, schedule, backgrounds, time blocking base, calendar notes, calendar overlays, and then layer 1, that's just like the layer that comes in, that's like your planner. I could have made backgrounds be layer 1. That's what I did in this, in my book journal. I just labeled it background instead of layer 1. So I could have done that, but you know, it is how it is. But look, I mean, look. See, Aaron says, check the post I sent you where they mention the layers and let us know what you think. I felt it was kind of dismissive. Probably. I can see that. Because, I mean, they've been dismissing it for how long now? I think they're more concerned with the people who use the native features in GoodNotes, where they're not importing planners, they're not playing with stickers, they're not doing those things. They're just taking notes in college classes or something like that. Like, that seems to be what their updates are geared more towards, which is dismissing everything that we use it for. Because how many of us like go into GoodNotes and just, okay, go. Oh, you're being so slow. How many of us go into GoodNotes and just say, you know, just like a quick note, or like do a notebook and choose your paper? Like, how many of us actually use that for that? We're mainly importing planners and doing all these things. And so I think that they just don't care as much. They just don't care as much about the things that we care about. And says they keep giving us stupid stuff related to math and things like that. We just want to make things pretty. Yeah, I think that they are more geared to people taking class notes. And there's more people using it than that. But then again, we don't have like their data that they do. Maybe they have more people using it for just like the basic note taking than what we use it for. And so that's why they're caring more about that. Maybe. I don't know. Aaron says, it's so annoying. Like, come on, GoodNotes, I pay for the subscription. I still want to know what is the difference between the one-time price and the subscription, because at one point they made it seem like that if you had this subscription, that was the only way to get updates. But yet I have just the one-time payment version and I still get updates. And then it was like, well, the only difference between the subscription and the one-time thing is if you want to view this on like a different platform. Like if this is on my iPad, but I want to view it on like a Windows computer. I don't do that. So I don't care about the subscription for that. So like, what's the difference? I don't know. And says, I'm sorry, if I take class notes, I'd use something that's easy to type into, not GoodNotes. See, I type all my stuff in GoodNotes. So, I mean, yes, I do write my notes, but I also have, I also have the cute little keyboard where I could just easily, you know, type my notes that way. So, I mean, they are doing something with like new document editing as part of like a future, like the next big update. But this works fine. I don't know what they're trying to do. I think their document thing, they're trying to compete with Notion, maybe. I don't know. Aaron says they should realize that there are plenty of others who use it for everyday planning, family life, work, business, etc. Agreed. And says, I wish I had done the one-time price. I mean, can't you do the one-time price? Like, can't you just, you know, back up your stuff? If you're on the subscription, back up your stuff and then just cancel your subscription and download GoodNotes, like the regular paid version, the one-time payment version. Or can you just switch it in your account? I don't know. I don't know. Because, I mean, it's still your Good Notes account. Can you just switch it? That could be a question you could ask them. I don't know. And says, I also did not get any discount like they said I would. Rude. Yeah. I mean, I feel like we should have got a big discount if we had been using it for years and years and years. But at the same time, if you're updating, if there's a big update difference in, software for a computer, you may get a little update, but you're not getting the whole thing for free, So I get that. They still got to make money. It's a business. I get that. But I don't know. I don't know. So what else am I missing from this? Oh, I was going to show you my Notion thing. That was the last thing. Let me see. Okay. All right. If I switch to, I always am scared that it's going to go to the webcam. So hang on. Okay. This is the behind the scenes stuff that you guys don't get to see. Okay. If I go here. Okay, so this is the other thing I wanted to show you guys. This is what's in the works for the next Notion Hub that's coming out. Because I realized it's 10:57. So this is the next Notion Hub that's coming out. I've talked about this with a few other people who have requested stuff like this. So this is coming out soon. Possibly by the end of the week. I'm really almost done. It's a really simple one. It's not crazy intense. And so I don't know if you guys want a look through of this, or I'll give you a basic rundown. And if you want more in-depth stuff, let me know. But the way this works is on the dashboard, and you do have a navigation button for the dashboard. This is where you can find stuff that's on the menu for this week, which means you've tagged a recipe and you've checked it for this week, so it's filtered to show up here. There's also a shopping list. So this is items that you have tagged for shopping for this week. So it's maybe you're out of it and these are the recipes that it goes with it. But once you get it at the store, you can uncheck it and it comes off this list. It's still in the ingredient list, but this is your shopping list. So this is for stuff that's on the menu for this week. And then you scroll down and this is your meal planning. So if you tag a recipe for, hey, I want to use the tomato sauce for Sunday lunch, you can tag a recipe for that. So Monday, Asiago chicken pasta for dinner and the protein banana pancakes for breakfast. So I've already loaded this with a few different recipes just to show you how things work. All the sources are tagged so that, the creators get credit. But it's super easy to navigate on the front page. You also have a little reminder area. All the navigation, the clock, and the reminders show up on every single page so that you can quickly reference that. And yes, these are my pickles that I made right here. That is my pickles that I took a picture of that I made. But there's a recipe section here. So these are all the recipes. You can add more. So as you fill it up, they just kind of populate. So this is a gallery. But then you've also got gallery by type so that you can minimize these and you can see all of your sections. So if you're looking for something specific, chicken dishes, you can just see all your chicken dishes here, right? And then you've got ingredients. So this is your ingredient list. As you add things, they populate here. You can add them here directly, or you can add them through a recipe and it goes here. And then you've got shopping list. So this is, you can see it's check marked here if it's on the shopping list. You can say bananas. So because I checked bananas, if I go to my shopping list, I can see that banana is on here. So it all links back to each other. And then there's also a resource section. So this is where I've added some bookmarks for some different places of where I've added recipes. And then videos, this is where you can add things. I have a couple videos I want to add in here, maybe it's a TikTok video or a YouTube video or whatever. You can add it here for quick reference. But the way the recipes work is, let's go to the gallery. So I'm going to do zucchini bread. This is the zucchini bread recipe that I made, by the way. We've been talking about my zucchini bread recently. So the way it works is you've got your cover photo, which is what shows up here in the gallery. And then you check mark on the menu. And if it's on the menu, it shows up on that front dashboard page for this week. You can tag what meal it's for. You can tag what day you want it to be for. And then you've got notes for serving, prep time, total time, type. This is where it's like the type of recipe. And you can add more options to this. You can change these if you want to. And then you've got sources. And then you've got a source link. So this will take you directly back to wherever you found it from. And then there's a built-in template so that if you want to start from scratch, like you don't have to make all this every single time. And it's just here, right? And then, so this is all the notes and whatever. The fun feature about this, I mean, the whole thing is fun because I'm nerdy, but the way it works with your ingredient list and your shopping list is, yes, this is your specific ingredients of, 2 cups of flour and how much specific baking powder and how much specific baking soda. But if you go up here and click where it says view details, it's going to pop up this little ingredient panel. So this is where you would tag ingredients from your ingredient list. So if you wanted to look up an ingredient, there's 11 selected, but like you can look up more ingredients. And so let's say here's your tagged ingredients and you realize, oh, I don't have any eggs. If I click this, I can say add to shopping list. And there you go. My eggs are now on the shopping list. So if I go here to dashboard and shopping list, you can see the eggs now show up. Now it doesn't have a category. How do you fix that? You just select it. So this would be eggs and dairy. There you go. And now it's up here in this section, which is really handy when you're in the grocery store because you're going to shop by sections. So if you're thinking of shopping in a specific patterns, you can always adjust your categories to match what's in the grocery store or how you like to do your shopping. So it makes it easier to get everything in that one area at a time. But like, how cool is that? How cool is that? It's just, so everything just kind of like relates back to everything else. And Erin said that she's never heard of sweet pickles. They are a thing. Like she's from New York. She doesn't understand. But these are sweet refrigerator pickles. These are the pickles that I made. And that is my picture. I took that picture. That is in my kitchen. Okay. So let's say you wanted to add a recipe from scratch. You can do it from here, like on the menu. Like let's say, hey, I found this really cool recipe. I want to put it in here now that I know I want to do this week. You can hit new page and come down here. There's a template and you can edit your template. But this is the template that I've built in. So if I click it, it automatically populates with these little areas here. And there's one really cool feature that I don't know if you know about for browsing recipes. Like let's say for anything, not just recipes, but like let's say, let's go, I don't know, I'm going to click this website. Okay, let's say I want to add this recipe to my thing. Go on there. Why are you being slow? Alexandra's Kitchen Cooks, whatever. Why are you? Come on. Okay, maybe this is not the best example. You're going to go out slow. Oh, here we go. I got it. Okay. So here's this recipe, right? There's this really cool feature, which you may or may not know about, is like, let's say you're going to add this to your page. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to copy. Okay. If we're in our Notion list, let's go back to our dashboard because this is the recipe that we're making. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to paste this so I can come back to it easily. But here's a really cool feature. Okay. So if I'm on this page, and I'm going to scroll down and find like a really good picture of this recipe. Okay, like this is a really good picture, right? You don't have to save the picture like on your iPad or on your computer in order to use it in your Notion. You can right click and say copy image address. And then you can come in here, so cover photo, and instead of choosing upload, you say embed link and you hit paste and say link. and it pulls in this photo. So now if I look here, there's my photo, right? Same thing here, because I've got this template. You can say replace and do the same thing. Embed link, paste, embed image, and it's just going to pop it in that spot. So you don't have to save all these images and keep them everywhere. This is just a really quick way that you can, do this. Let's see. Let's go back up to the top of this. Da-da-da. I'm just going to copy this, go to my Notion, and I'm going to put this here, paste, and now I can come in here and I can do all this stuff. I can tag this as Alexandra Cooks, and I could say this is breakfast or bread or whatever you want to call it. There you go. There it is right there. And we've tagged it as on the menu. I can say, let's do this for breakfast and let's do it for Tuesday. Okay. Now, because I've tagged it for breakfast and Tuesday, if I come down here, you can see it's on my list for Tuesday. So let's take off this for Tuesday. I'm going to take off Tuesday. So now we're doing this for breakfast instead. So that's how you can plan out your meals. How fun is that? How fun is that? Love it. Okay, let me see your notes here. Vicky's excited about Notion and says, I only eat dill pickles. Ugh. My granny used to make bread and butter pickles, whatever that. Bread and butter pickles, that's the sweet pickles. That's what that means. That's the sweet pickles. I don't know why it's called bread and butter pickles. If it's sweet, that doesn't make sense to me, but that's what that means. If someone says bread and butter pickle, it's a sweet pickle. Anne says there should be a Notion extension to add to Notion in Chrome. I mean, you could, well, okay. I mean, an easy way to do this, let's say you wanted to bookmark this page or bookmark, let's go back to her homepage. If you copy this, say copy, and then we're going to go to our resource sections. I technically already have this. It's right there. But if you come down here and I'm going to say paste, if you choose bookmark, then it creates this little thing. If you hit embed, it's it's going to put the website on here, and that's not really what you want. But if you wanted it to look like this, that's the option that you choose. I'm going to delete that because I already have it up here once. But that's super, super, super easy. But if you have an extension, where does it go? Where does it go? You said Evernote. I used to use Evernote, and Notion is way better than Evernote ever dreamed of. I mean, I don't know what it is now, but Notion's just way better. But yeah, that's how you get this little look, and you can, rearrange these if you have certain things. If you wanted to do, different ones for different things, you could change these up. But that's how you can customize it. But yeah, so this is coming, probably I'll just leave this on here and just make it part of it, but I'll finish filling this out with all of this. But yeah, it's super, super handy. I wanted this to be able to put my iPad up on the stand on the kitchen counter and make a recipe. This is our go-to anniversary recipe. See, I even put that, our go-to anniversary dinner. And so having this recipe easy to pull up, and because this is a checklist, as you're making things, you can check it off and okay, I added that. And then you can just uncheck them when you're done to start fresh again. Love it. There you go. Okay, so that is my teaser of Notion. I'm trying to make sure I hit everything. Is there anything else before we switch back? Let me go here. Okay, there we go. Aaron says, before we go, is anyone else doing the summer creative retreat with Peggy Dean later this week? Oh, how did I miss that? I did not know that it was happening. I'll have to look into that. I'm sure she always has a great bunch of people in there. So I'll have to look at that and see who else is doing it this year. Her retreats are really good. They're really good. And you can usually get in, like, get the free version or, like, pay for the full access, the lifetime access, extra stuff version. So check that out if you're interested in doing some things, because she always has good people for those things. Okay, I think that's it. I think that's all I have. I'm not surprised it's past 11. That's okay. It usually happens. Okay. Do you guys have any other questions or anything else? Anne says, I'm not Erin, but I'm doing a summer reading challenge. Nice. Erin says it has a really good lineup. I ended up paying for the extra since my kid's birthday is this weekend. Nice. I have one that I did. I don't know if it was last year. I think it was last year that I did the summer retreat last year, and I ended up paying for it because it was such a good lineup that I wanted to have access to them later on. So, yeah. Okay. I think that's it. That's all I got. That's all I got. What am I missing? I know I'm missing something. Oh, one thing is, let's see if I can find, the freebie. I was going to tease you with the freebie. This is our freebie for August. I did another desk decor kit. So you've got the cute little calendars, a little desk mat, little round desk mat, this one, and then some little trays. So this is your little desk decor kit. What else? Oh, event calendars. These went up in Patreon yesterday, I think, in book club. I'm going to add them to the Facebook group so you can, like, grab these. There's the link that's in the Facebook group should still work, but this is our calendars for August of all the events. So this is today. Thursday, we've got a release radar for book club. Friday is when our Patreon Q&A opens up, and that's when we have our major shop releases. Next week, we're doing our suggestions and voting for the exclusives in Patreon. And next Tuesday, we're getting together next Tuesday afternoon for our book club end of the month. Oh, not end of the month. Our book of the month hangout in book club. So I'm going to be, like, get ready to see an update in book club this week with the Zoom link there. So this is a new thing that we're starting where we're going to get together and everyone's going to talk about all the different books that they read that month and, like, which one is their favorites. So their specific books of the month. So we'll get to see, like, all kinds of different genres, all kinds of different authors, get to hear, like, great book recommendations. So that's happening next Tuesday in book club. So yeah, and then we've got reading challenges and journal challenges, stuff like that happening in book club. Soon we'll have early access goodies in book club. So yeah, so our August calendars are up. I will be sharing them in the Facebook group and Discord and all that kind of stuff this week, but they're already up in Patreon if you wanted to grab them. And yeah, that's all I got. I think that covers everything. That was a lot of stuff that we covered today. So yeah. Oh, and there is a Monday start too. So Monday start and Sunday start. Got those both covered. Is there anything else? I think that's it. I think that's it. I'm off to go do, more of this stuff and, like, get a lint roller in here with all this dog hair buttons. Okay. So that's it. I'm out. Do you guys have any questions or comments or anything before we go? Yeah, I think I need to go find me something to eat. I'm hungry. Buttons ate my cookie. Okay, that's it. Let's see. Everyone's saying, have a great week. Yeah, so that's it. That's all I got. I will see you guys in the next video. And so that's next Tuesday. We've got the live for YouTube in the morning. And then we've got the Zoom for book club in the afternoon. That's a lot. It's going to be a fun day. All right. I'm out. I will see you guys next time. Ta-ta and toodaloo.